Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I'm super stoked about this one. I've been thinking about like how to go about this conversation literally all week. I was at my brother's wedding when we were messaging back and forth, and I was just like, "We've got a good one. We've got a good one this week." And I yeah, but I haven't really. I've been thinking about like what way to kind of go about this conversation, because this is genuinely. I've kept in touch with everyone I've had on the show. They've been pretty easy, like Kama and I speak, maybe we were texting, and that's how the show came about. Shawnee came up to visit us in Virginia. Quinn's my brother. So like everything's been pretty easy.
Yeah.
You, I'll say the last like really tangible memory I have of you and I speaking, working together was I was sort of this assistant pastor kind of deal for our young adult ministry, and we had asked you to preach for it. I don't know if you remember. Yeah, okay. And honestly, I was thinking about it, and that was probably one of like the better nights of that ministry. It was a really cool moment, I think. You shared your testimony. I feel it was really impactful. I felt like it touched a lot of people, and in the moment I kind of felt it was this special night. And I don't think you were super involved in that ministry or even that church at the time. I think you were at the satellite campus.
Yeah.
But I think that's the last sort of moment I remember speaking with you. And yeah, and the whole point of the podcast is to sort of like talk about where we were, where we've gone. And I don't really know anything about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we could start from the beginning though. Maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that night was like the most impactful night of my walk in general.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know why, but it's like so distinct for me because I was like, oh, this is real, like kind of thing. Like I don't know why, but I was doing a blog at that time, and like a lot of people showed up that I haven't connected with in a while, and I actually connected with someone from high school. Like, not weren't in the same grade, but we went to school at the same time, and she was like, I was reading your blog, and like she was like, and your like the sermon was, I don't know, it was just like so weird. It felt like so real, as like, I don't know, something I wanted to do at the time. Like I was like, oh dang, this is the path I'm going down, kind of thing.
And I mean, at the time, I guess I don't want to jump around too much, but I mean, you were we entered Bible college, I think the same semester.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we started at the same time.
So, I mean, were you kind of discerning a role in a church at that point? I mean, this is probably 2014. I think you probably had been out of high school for a little bit at that.
Like a year. I so sorry, I'm trying to like remember. So obviously I followed someone to that school, and I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I was just following someone, and then like I just kind of stayed there after a while, and then in that moment, like when I spoke at that ministry, I was like, dang, this is what I'm doing. Like I kind of was just going with the flow for so long after like I followed someone to school.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to come very naturally for you to share your faith and to be in that sort of pastoral role. And so I mean, that was kind of, I mean, were you at the time when you went into school, was it purely like following the guy, or is it
Yeah.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
I had
I
no
was,
idea.
yeah. Like I had faith.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
I was doing that, but I literally did not know what I wanted to do with my life. So I was just like, okay, I'll follow you. I followed them to the previous school that we went to. And
Oh,
then they were like, let's move home. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? And then we went to the same school. So I didn't really have like an idea in mind. I just was going with it.
I think I kind of remember. So you guys went to, if I'm not mistaken, you went to another Bible college
Yeah.
in Oregon.
In Washington, it was
Wow.
I don't, I don't think it was specifically a Bible college. It was like a really Christian college.
Okay.
They had like you could study to become a pastor, but they had like um, teaching degrees, nursing degrees. Like it was kind of like an all rounder, not how specific the college we went to in Hawaii.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. So, I mean, you go in kind of following a guy who he thinks he wants to be a pastor, and
Hmm.
you're just kind of along for the ride, thinking maybe pastor's wife kind of deal.
Yeah, like that was just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna be a pastor's wife. And I was taking it as like, I don't know a lot about Christianity, like as much. So I'll take this time to what I thought a pastor's wife did. Like literally all the pastor's wife that I followed on social media all went to like Bible college. So I was like, okay, like this is what I'm doing.
Interesting. Okay. So it wasn't like a vocational thing. It was, or I guess in a sense that it was like you were going to be this vocation of the pastor's wife.
Pastor's
Not,
wife, yeah.
yeah. Okay, but not necessarily like I'm going to be the next Joyce Meyer. Who?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that,
Like
is that
I was.
okay? Yeah. Okay. Real quick. Okay. Sorry.
Mhm.
I don't mean to cut this off. I just want to. Your audio levels are
It's
through
like
the roof right now.
skyrocketing.
I
Yeah.
think so. I don't know if it's like a if you can move. Is it's through your webcam though, huh?
Yeah. I don't know. I can like back up. Is that better? I don't know. Or is it capturing sorry. Is it capturing this?
I
That's
don't think
not
so.
it. Is this better?
I think it's better now.
Okay, I will sit back here.
Okay, maybe it's not. I think it's actually not.
No, I think
We'll edit it in post. That's fine.
I don't know
Um,
what like I hold on, let me see if I can edit the volume of this. Or is it because it's like still capturing on this side. Is it doing anything here?
yeah.
It is? That's
Um,
better?
I think so. Try
Oh,
saying something.
actually, okay. I think I see it not going as crazy.
It's not going as crazy. I don't think.
Okay, it's literally that I game setup is driving me nuts.
No worries, no worries. I'll probably just lower the volume or something anyways in post. But I just was like, if we can try and get it now before the first 10 minutes, maybe we can.
Yeah. Okay.
No
Sorry,
worries.
I see it. Okay.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You can move around. It's fine. We could just edit it. It's cool. Um, we're doing it live. Okay, 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 okay. Anyways, back to it. Pastor's wife. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I didn't think that was really the thing. I thought because okay, and we can talk about this or not, but
Yeah.
you guys were at one point being targeted to be like youth pastors, even early on, right?
Yeah. So he was very connected with the ministry, like from a very young age. His parents were very connected. And so he like was so involved and everyone kind of knew him growing up. And I just felt like that was such a thing back then. Like they trusted people who were there for a while, which is fair. But yeah, to be honest, when we started dating, I didn't even know that was on his radar. Like, I didn't even know like a ministry vocation thing was like a thing until we moved
It's
home.
kind of like an existential crisis thing. At least that's what it was for me. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't have anything else going on with my life. Maybe I'll do this thing, make this extremely radical change in my life that makes no money.
Literally,
Yeah.
nothing.
So it might have, I mean, it could have been just that. Who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, I think at one point it was in talks to do one of the youth ministries. Sorry, they're doing.
You're good.
My bad.
No, you're fine.
I'm not going to talk until. It's apartment life. Okay, he's gone.
Perfect. Okay, right on.
Okay, my bad. Okay.
No, you're fine.
Where should I start again?
No, so okay, yeah. You guys were being kind of I was about to say groomed, but that is kind of the word that's used. You guys were. Yeah. You guys were being like set up to be sort of a power couple in our youth ministry at one point.
Yeah, I kind of felt it in that way. Like, I did feel like we were kind of spotlighted. I mean, I also think it was because there weren't a lot of couples at the time too. So it's like, it felt almost like a replacement of a previous like pastor that left that was leading. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, we need something similar to that. And so, like, I felt like that's why we were really spotlighted, because it's what was familiar.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, what's kind of interesting, well, one, he was in that pastor's small group growing up as a kid. And I actually had interacted with him and his parents because we all did ministry together at a satellite campus years ago when I was like a freshman in high school. So, I mean, he had been around and kind of got the culture, I guess, like what you were saying. Yeah, I don't think anyone foresaw him or you, because you did get involved in high school to an extent.
Yeah, I was. So I started coming after summer camp of. I was going into my senior year, so it was like the summer before my senior year. I can't remember. I think that was 2012. That's when I first, like, I was going to the church, but I wasn't involved. And then I went to the camp in 2012, and then I was like, oh, I like this. And then that's when I started going. And that's actually where we reconnected, was after that camp. I started going to the youth group.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you came into it through camp. You were in, like, did you like come with a friend or something?
No, it was just me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just didn't connect with my family at the time. I wasn't really connecting with anyone at high school. And like, I was I grew up at the time where MTV had all those like summer camp things, and like summer camp like is like the best thing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this and see if I feel connected in any way.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what camp that would have been. Was it inside the church or was it?
No, that I can't remember if that was the first time it was on the west side.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember if that was the first one or not. I don't think it was, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. I know it was 2012 though.
Was I there?
Man, it's like blurry because I feel like there were a ton of people there. Like, when I came back after going to college, like, I was like, oh dang, everyone is still like here from summer camp ish.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, I guess so. I was under the impression that you were involved previous to your relationship and going to Bible college, because I thought I had kind of already known you at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I was involved. Maybe it wasn't my senior year. I don't remember. I have to look back at it. But I was involved because I was doing media actually with your brother. So I was actually like, I was serving in high school still.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and we knew because we knew like you went to high school. I think I had friends that went to the same high school as you that were younger. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's yeah. I feel like there was that connection already. So I mean, we go into you, me, and a couple other people. We all enter Bible college at the same time, and it seems like you guys like kind of are sort of like kind of what you said. You're spotlighted not only by the church we were going to, but by the college we are going to, and some of the professors kind of take you guys under their wing. I think they kind of foresaw you being a kind of power couple there too, or this sort of like influential force in the Bible college world, and um, yeah, I mean, and that was kind of an interesting relationship you guys seem to navigate um,
Yeah.
pretty
I
early on.
It's funny because I don't like I know on the church side I felt that way, but I don't think I like necessarily saw it that way. But now that you're speaking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of did connect with the professors a lot and the staff as well, and us as a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it was like a and I think we were all kind of hanging out because we had come from the youth ministry and we were sort of entering into this thing together,
Hmm.
and I think that kind of sets up the for all of us that first semester, this sort of vision that maybe it was just me that, oh, we're going to do this thing, we're going to change Hawaii, we're going to like I don't know, I like, were you guys having those same types of thoughts going into it, or
Yeah, I had the same thoughts, and also they were like, don't worry about like how you're gonna get connected or like how you're gonna get a job after this. We're so connected. I have a distinct memory about that of being like, we have so much connections, like you're gonna like go into your calling. Like I remember having that specific conversation or like it being a conversation, and I was so in my mind I was like, oh okay, I'm like I'll be okay after Bible college. I'll have a job and like I'll have some sort of living off of this.
so were people in the Bible college telling you that, or
Yes, like the staff.
man, they didn't tell me that kind of stuff.
Well, like it because I that was like my main thing. I was like because I don't know if you know this, but I got kicked out of my
No.
yeah, I got kicked out of my grandma's house during the time and I was living with my grandma. And so I actually had to live with my partner at the time and his parents. So like that's why I was so that maybe that's why I felt so connected because I was like trying to figure it out. But that was like one of my main things. I was like, I'm worried about what this looks like in the future.
So I mean, you're going into this like just faith, blind faith, everything will be taken care of. I mean, because it's somewhat looking that way. I mean, I guess like your boyfriend at the time, they're able to take you in. People are sort of propping you up to be future pastors in the youth ministry, and people are sort of targeting you guys for like to mentor you and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what kind of changes there? I guess we're still pretty early on because this is, I mean, like, even this is before you guys
Yeah,
you
like
and
in the relationship or in like their church sense.
I guess in everything, right? Because
In every,
I mean,
yeah.
does everything kind of change at that point, or not really?
So when the relationship change is when I kind of took it on for myself. So obviously the person moved away and we were engaged and we got unengaged and like um I don't know, I think I was just still going with the motions and eventually I was able to go back and live with my grandma at the time. Um, but I think I was so disconnected from family that this is the only place where I felt connected. So like I didn't know what I was doing, but it felt comfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why like I continued doing it despite me following somebody. Um, like the relationship changed because I don't know, I can't speak for that specific person, but I don't think like for me I was like, oh, I like have a lot of faith. But I'm not sure if that person had as much faith or maybe was going into the relationship thinking that like, oh, we are this is right and this is the ideal kind of thing. And maybe that freaked him out. I don't know. We didn't really get a lot of closure. He just kind of up and left, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do recall that pretty sudden
Yeah.
departure. I mean, it was like the first semester, right? Or like the end of the
Yeah, it
first.
was like end of first semester. I actually found out through somebody else that he was leaving. I didn't even know that he was leaving. Like, it was a plan for us to go to the mainland, but then someone came up to me and was like, "Oh, are you like moving to the mainland? I just heard like that he said that you guys are or that he's moving." And I was like not right now. And it was the most awkward and it literally got into the car and like we had the conversation and that's where it ended. It was like so interesting.
Yeah, I the only memory I have was we're all debriefing it in maybe like between classes or something, and you're like, "Yeah, he made me keep the ring."
Yeah, I still have it. I tried to pawn it off and they were like it's not oops, that sounds mean. They were like it's not worth it. So, yeah.
It's just, maybe like you could like gift that to someone, or like when you're ready to propose to someone else or whatever. But like I don't, yeah.
Someone told me to give it to my kids, and I said, "That's weird."
I actually I got a divorce ring I sold it in order to pay for Taya's wedding ring.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I think I got like $800 for it or something, and
that's pretty good.
it wasn't too bad. It
Yeah,
was.
that's pretty good.
I think it. Okay, maybe it wasn't that much. That actually sounds way too good. It might have been like two or something. It was probably like a quarter carat diamond. And yeah, and now she doesn't even wear the ring that I
Oh,
bought.
I literally never wear mines. Like it's I don't know. I just feel like I'm like I act married, so I wear it, but like when I'm like doing my makeup and stuff, I don't. It's like a I don't. It's a common thing, I think.
And that's she always just, well, I think that's the thing. Guys always wear their wedding ring.
Yeah,
If they
yeah.
don't, it's always like, what's going on there? Why aren't you wearing your wedding ring?
Hmm.
But girls, I mean, I feel like they're looking for every excuse to not wear it. Like like whenever Taya washes her hands, she always takes it off. I don't like
Yeah.
everything. Like, oh yeah, I had to wash my hands, and I just left it on the counter for like a week. I'm like, oh, okay. That
Oh, is
losing their
that what it is?
relationship on the counter for a week, I guess. And okay, so let's move into this marriage relationships.
Yeah.
I should say, when I did the first episode, we put a poll up on Instagram. I said, anyone who was with me during this era, who do you guys want to see? The unanimous response was you guys.
You're kidding.
I am not. I don't know if you like. Why do you think that is?
Like, why? Why do you? I think people wanted us
I want to hear
on the
you.
pot.
I mean, that was like, I was getting people in the mainland, people back in Hawaii, people still involved in the church. That was like, I wouldn't say unanimous. Okay, not
Yeah,
everyone did it, but it was the predominant response was talk to the McDonald's.
that's crazy. Well, I personally think we have the most wild story. Like, we've been through so much, and like, in a sense, like, so we're not in church right now.
Mm.
We don't even know where our faith stands. Like, it's not really like our thing as much anymore for us. Um, But like, I don't know, when you go through solid changes like that, it's almost like, oh, is this couple gonna last? Because our main foundation was being pastors, planting a church, like having children, leading them in Christ. Like that was our mindset, like when we left Hawaii. And I think we probably made the most dramatic change throughout the years. I mean, my personal story is very dramatic in general, but us, like, so we left Hawaii, and the plan was we're gonna spend some time in Texas. We're gonna leave there in a few weeks, and we're gonna go plant a church in Chicago. That was like the plan. And obviously, we're not in Chicago or planting a church. So maybe that's why. I don't know. I think it's maybe the most curious because we're still together and we pretty much don't have that same foundation when we first got married, possibly.
Yeah. No, and I think, I mean, it's like, I don't think people are necessarily, it's like, ooh, what's the tea? Because honestly, I mean, you know, we all love you guys, and we loved you guys, and I don't know, I was just thinking about your wedding and how much of a privilege it was for us to go, and I felt so honored because there wasn't that many people from
No,
the
I
ministry.
felt the same about your guys' wedding.
Dude, were you at our wedding?
I was at your guys'
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that is kind of wild. That was pretty small. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know you were there.
Well,
No,
I
I
don't think
did.
I was
Okay,
at the
you went with
ceremony.
one of the students.
Yeah, I wasn't at the ceremony. I think.
Yeah, I think that
No.
was like 5 people though.
Yeah, I think I was at the reception.
Yes.
But yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm so glad you were there. Yeah, because I mean, because that was like first semester. We were,
Yeah.
you know, ring before spring of freshman year.
My ex was supposed to come with me. That's why the student came with me. But he was like,
okay,
I'm
that
not
is
going.
exactly why. Because we had a core group of friends, and that person may come on the podcast at some point. Not your ex fiance, but the other person that was in our friend group.
Mm-hmm.
And I invited all of you guys, and it was kind of like, oh, freshman Bible college students, whatever. Okay, yeah, but yeah. So I mean, I felt so privileged to be at your guys' wedding, and I think we all had a sense that there was a lot of hurt involved, and I think the only reason we can sort of infer that
Mm-hmm.
is because you guys had a very clear vision, I guess. And I mean that was, you articulated that to us pretty clearly, that you guys were going to church plant in Chicago. How did that even come about also?
Gabe pretty much, well, I always felt like I never felt like I was gonna stay in Hawaii my whole life. So I always knew that I was gonna make it to the mainland at one point. But Gabe had like a specific dream or vision, and like he felt like God was telling him to go to Illinois and plant a church. So that's pretty, and from there he got his license, and then we were just gearing up after that.
He got a license in the denomination?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't think I knew that. Okay. So you guys are going to plant out of the denomination that we're all part of. And then that was sort of the vision.
Yeah. I don't know if we were gonna, like, our idea wasn't out of that specific church, like, right, with that name, but it was like in the same, like, the actual like denomination.
Yeah. Okay, I don't think I knew that. Okay, I thought it was just, so obviously the wheels fall off at some point in that. We could talk about that however you want, but I mean, what do you sort of, so you go from having this very clear vision of what your lives are going to look like, to not only a complete departure from that vision, but also a departure somewhat, whatever that looks like for you now, from your faith at that point?
Mm-hmm.
What do you kind of attribute that to?
So we were connected with, I can't even remember what it's called, but we went to the denomination conference, and then we got connected to the overseer of that area's. I really don't know what they call them anymore. I kind of
Of like the
forget.
Midwest, like a
Yeah,
regional.
yes. Like he was the head, and so we got connected, and like we were in Texas just waiting. Like, okay, let's just like serve at a church in Chicago and like see what Chicago's about. Because like I think it's so ridiculous to go and plant a church of an area that you literally know nothing about. So I was like, I'm not going in there and like telling those people what they need when I don't even know. So like the plan was to work at a church there first. So we were waiting for this call, this we'll get you a job at this kind of church thing. And we looked up a church in San Antonio that was in the same denomination, and we ended up getting so connected there. We let them know our plan, and they were like, okay, let us help you with that. So I was actually in the process of getting my license through that church. And we were serving in the youth ministry at the time. It was just so, I don't know. I don't know if you experienced this, but when I thought all the churches, because I've only been at our church
Right.
in Hawaii. Like, of course, I've been like, I was serving at a satellite one, but like the vibes are all the same. So in my mind, I was like, oh, all of this denomination churches are going to feel the same. And it really wasn't. And it was such a shock to me. But we were serving and we were trying really hard to like put this plan into motion, and we kind of like just didn't get any answers from anyone. Like they kept saying like, yeah, we support you in this, and yeah, we want to see this happen. And like we were, I think, so we had been in Texas at 4 years at that point, like to when we like left. But like I don't know, 4 years seems a long time to gear up for a church plant in my eyes, or at least I felt at the time. And we kind of put a lot of our life on hold to support this church in San Antonio, and we had a. I don't know if you remember, but I'm a crier, so I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, go for it.
Wow, this was a long time ago, but it's still.
Yeah.
Something happened to where we were not okay with the pastor's actions, and we called it out, and it pretty much backfired onto us, and they questioned our character. And that just like flipped our world upside down. Like, yeah, we got questioned a lot of who we are as like Christ believers, as like youth, like helping out the youth and all of that stuff. And we were like, okay, well, we're done at this place. And we had like literally no plan. Like our plan was relying on that church to gear us up to church plant, and it like just stopped. And so yeah, and we just like didn't know what to do for a while. And so pretty much, I don't know, as someone who experienced that severe of a church hurt, I couldn't find myself to go back to church for a while. I actually just, I wasn't trying to go to church, but one of our friends visited, and they're like, oh, by the way, like we're gonna not by the way, but they're like, we're gonna go to church first if you don't mind. So I literally went to church for the first time this past spring. I think it
No
was
kidding.
spring. Yeah. So it had been since 2020. So like 5 years. I haven't been
Well,
in church for a while.
well,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean that's. I mean, yeah. It's the power dynamics in church leadership are so strange. I
Yeah.
think, especially, I mean, people who, yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, if you have grown up in the church and then you sort of see behind the curtain
Yeah.
about how
Yeah.
the sausage is made, it's kind of gross. Like you have these people with huge God complexes that want to control everything, and when there's just a really hard time um having any sort of accountability when you're in such a public
Mm-hmm.
and authoritative position in a church. And I think that context of a church matters because yeah, everyone's had like crappy bosses in like a secular setting, whatever, like, you know, at a restaurant or an office job or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But the context of a church just makes it that much more heinous because it
Mm-hmm.
becomes so much more hypocritical and it's like, and it's not just this like professional relationship, it's also this
Yeah. Like your whole life is
spiritual.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it sounds like the second you tried holding up the mirror, the rug just gets pulled out from underneath you guys. And
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of things that we were like, just there's just a lot of things that we like weren't used to, like we didn't agree with, and like it got. We were actually at a summer camp when it happened, and we were like, dude, this is not okay. Like, this is not okay, especially in this setting. And like so, yeah, it was when we got back, we like reported everything to like the senior leadership, and um, they were just like, okay, but this is what you did, and this is you, and like literally we they called us in for a meeting, and it was the whole, you know how like they have the pastoral team
yeah,
kind of thing. It was Gabe and I in the pastoral team, and like it was the most wild thing ever. Like and you know, like the church, like if they want you to what is it, reconcile, like they want you to reconcile with people all the time. um so like we were, that was the main thing, is like you say sorry to this person, and so they set up a meeting for us to meet with that person, and Gabe was like, yeah, I'm not doing that, and so I went into the meeting on my own. Sorry.
no,
and I apologize for, I don't know, I don't really know what I apologized for, but I remember apologizing, and it just didn't feel right, so we left.
like you kind of felt like they sort of twisted your arm to where you had to apologize and you didn't even know necessarily what you were
Yeah.
apologizing for in the moment.
Yeah, because we were actually like defending somebody else. We were like, this is like, you shouldn't treat somebody this way, like especially when you're the head like of this ministry, and we just don't feel like that's right. And yeah, then we ended up apologizing, or I did. um so yeah, it's and I don't, you you guys visited Texas, right, when you guys.
We were in we would go up to Fort Worth.
Yeah, so like I don't know, like so us going back to church was so hard because like the churches in Texas are so like mega churchy,
Yeah.
and I was like, I was so turned off by it at that point, and I was like, there's no church for me here,
Yeah.
like kind of thing.
So sorry, and I'm not trying to like pry into the specifics or whatever,
No,
just
yeah.
for clarity. But like, so you witnessed the pastor doing something to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get called out for doing something to someone, a different someone, or like a different situation altogether, or
Pretty much just like character like things like, oh, I've I heard you had a problem with this pastor previously. So, like, did you
oh,
address that ahead of time? And, like, so I think they maybe thought it was, like, malicious? I don't
like
know.
retaliatory thing. Like you've just got a bone to pick with this guy, and
It,
that's why you guys are causing such a stink.
looking back at it, yes. I think that's probably what they thought. Like, maybe we, like, were like causing drama, and this is us being dramatic. But I don't know if anybody knows my husband, because he was the one where he was like, "I'm gonna say something." My husband is not like, he does not fly off the handle
Yeah, and
in
he
that
doesn't
kind
really
of
do
way.
drama. Like he's not.
No,
He's kind of
yeah, like he will avoid that as much as possible. So, yeah,
So I mean, you guys witness something so much like that stirs you up so much inside that you feel compelled to address it, and
mm-hmm.
in doing so, like your intention behind calling that out gets called out, and that's kind of and so you have to go to apologize to the pastor now.
Yeah, like they were like, we're gonna set up this meeting. We're gonna have a mediator. Um, and like they kind of wanted us to reflect, I guess. I'm like, some of it's a little blurry. I don't really remember like a whole ton, because I blacked it out.
Yeah, that's a trauma. Yeah,
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So and it was like, it was repetitive behavior of like, this is uncomfortable and weird, the way that you speak and talk to people as a leader of these people. Like, I'm just not okay with it. And I don't, the church that we were in Hawaii, like, apologizing was such a big thing. I don't know if
yeah,
you remember um one of the camps that we went to, like, before we went to the camp, they had like a little thing for us, and they were like, okay, don't go into this camp like with unresolved issues. And so like everyone was like apologizing to each other before the camp. So like, do you remember? I think we were both leaders. We were both cabin leaders at the
I
for.
remember cabin leading. I don't know if, and I was actually talking to Taya about this. I don't know if I cabin led like opposite you, where you were leading
No,
the
we
girl
were on
side.
the same team.
We were okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember that. I've been sick all week, and I sound like Anglo-Saxon Ben Shapiro or something. But I remember that camp because we were winning a game, and the other team cheated, and you and I got so pissed off for our students. Like it was this epic um, scavenger hunt game in at night in the dark, and we were solving puzzles to get to different locations, and another team figured out you could just follow the winning team to each new location instead of actually having to do the challenges. And I was pissed, but you like confronted the leaders and you're like, what the heck, guys? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, you can't do that. You're just too dumb to figure this out.
Oh my gosh. So when I was at summer camp, my cabin leader, oh my gosh, I just remember so much apologizing. But my cabin leader got upset at a game and was like, I had to apologize to this person because I felt like I was getting competitive. And so like, I kind of mirror sometimes. I mirror people like, oh, this is like, this feels right. So I was like, what the heck, guys?
Just match that energy and just
Match that energy. Like, well, I'm also very competitive, so that's why I was like, okay, no more cabin leading because the games get the best of me.
they really do. There have been full on almost fistfights at those games. I
Yeah.
mean, it's between leaders, not even the students.
This happened. So I actually helped out at camp in Texas, and I had to check myself because I was getting so competitive. And after that, I was like, yeah, no more participating in these games. Like, this, I was so competitive. So I was like, dang, gotta tone it down.
Dude, that was yeah, it was a good time. I tried, so I did college ministry after grad school, and I would try and do games like that, and they were
Mm-hmm.
just like too cool for it. I'm like, where is the energy?
Where's
You know?
the where?
Where like they're all cheating. They're all like, oh yeah, this is whatever. I'm like, no, you have to pop the balloon with your butt. Like
Yeah,
that's
like
the only way you have to pop the balloon.
you have to aim the dodgeball at their head. Like I that's at work they're having like team member appreciation and like there's a dodgeball thing and like of course Gabe and I work at the same place and um we were like should we sign up for it and I literally just had flashbacks of how competitive I got during summer camp and I was like yeah I'm not gonna let anybody at work see this side of me.
Dude, dodgeball was. I mean, it's kind of. I feel like the people who know. Like the more episodes we have, dodgeball has already come up in two different episodes. Malia's episode, we talked about it, and Shawnee. Like people have no idea how invested we were into dodgeball, and it was a weekly thing that we were
Week
doing, taking
not
over
only
an entire
weekly,
park.
yeah, I felt like it happened weekly at the park and at the church. And somehow we also did frisbee golf, or what do they call that?
Ultimate frisbee.
Ultimate frisbee. I remember that because
That
Gabe
was
was really
that's
into
how
that.
your husband ended up on the map because he comes in, a little late to the game, and he's like 6 foot something and
Hmm.
is a beast at throwing frisbees. And I think we had just gotten into ultimate frisbee, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, you just throw it like this across the entire field." Bet, and it's his whole family plays it, and we're like,
Yeah.
okay. So we were all like, what a legend. Oh my gosh. So I think that's how we all were like so hype on him when he first came through. Um, but yeah, we were very gamey back then.
Yeah.
I tried doing a dodgeball tournament at the campus ministry, and they were like, nah. And we had to cancel it because no one cared. I'm like, you guys suck, honestly. But
Where did the spirit go for the
right?
dodgeball?
What are you guys gonna do? Write papers? Like, give me a break.
They said study hall. Study
Papers?
hall is the move.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, sorry. I derailed this with my camp game comment. We were talking about the rug getting pulled out from underneath you in a ministry.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's I would want to leave too, I think, at that point. So you like because yeah, I don't know. It's just like an abusive relationship almost. That's what it sort of
Yeah.
sounds like. Like
Like,
where you just get gaslighted
mhm.
one full tilt, it's actually your fault and you're the one who needs to apologize.
Mhm.
And I can imagine that was it hard for like in your mind like going to apologize, did you feel like because I've had moments where I was the one apologizing when I shouldn't have been the one apologizing, and it
Mhm.
was like, oh no, I'm guilty. There's a lot of because I just have like all that sort of like shame
Yeah,
energy.
yeah.
Were you feeling like shame, or was it like this reluctant kind of I'm just doing this to mend fences, whatever?
I felt so um cold. I don't know. I actually don't know if this is a thing, but I feel like I developed spiritual OCD or like I religious OCD to where like if I didn't do something, this was going to happen to me. So like I felt like if I didn't go into this meeting, and if I didn't reconcile, I was going to die, like kind of thing.
So
So
yeah, I mean that I'm not a psychologist, but I do know quite a lot about
mm-hmm.
OCD. That is, yeah, that's a pretty like hallmark feature of
Yeah.
women with OCD of like these certain rituals being connected to like
Mm-hmm.
severe consequences, like this like extreme, like what might be called like scrupulosity, like this
Mm-hmm.
feeling of like um um extreme introspection on one's sins and wrongdoings and how
Yeah.
that can be the consequences of that. I mean, that's a pretty, I think, yeah, standard
Yeah. Or like
feature.
something bad was gonna happen. Like I don't think my thought process was I'm gonna die, but I had a really already developed that mindset back in Hawaii, and so like I just like was in the mindset of purging. Like, okay, if I don't get this out, then something bad's gonna happen to me. So like I guess the feeling that you're describing of like I feel so overwhelmed by all of this that like if I don't reconcile this and feel okay that something bad's going to happen. So yeah, that was I didn't. I think a lot of it was I didn't feel like it wasn't really of my own kind of thing. Like I just felt like, oh, I'm doing something so wrong and like I'm being called out, so I must be the reason. Um, Gabe has a stronger mindset to me, so that's why he didn't show up. But that's where my mind was at.
Yeah, I mean, and it sucks because like I don't like I've yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because it's like
Mm-hmm.
in the moment. I mean, you look back on those types of moments and you're like so angry at yourself for doing something. Like, why did I kind of bend the
Mm-hmm.
knee in this way? But in the moment, you're just so caught up because I've had those moments where it's just
Mm-hmm.
like you're I mean, and obviously I not to the same extent, but like when you're
Yeah.
apologizing for something like it wasn't your fault, you know, and this clearly wasn't your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a ton of things that happened after the fact that really solidified us not going back to church. Like them collecting statements from people that were false statements to put on like a file. And like they were so connected with the denomination that Gabe and I were like, we can never work at a church again. And that's all we knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So I mean, you guys get like blacklisted in the denomination because of this instance of
What
calling
if
the pastor
yeah,
out.
it's what it in my eyes it's what it felt like. Like it was kind of like they still tried to reach out and stuff and were like I don't know, it was just like the weirdest thing. Like the kids of the ministry would reach out and like send us upset text and like they like fully changed the narrative and we were like okay, like we just knew that they were so connected that like there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, like, what? Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, that's where we were at. We were what are we supposed to do? Like when you have such a clear vision and like when you think that this is what you're supposed to do is like plant a church, okay, like this church is helping us, so we'll stay here, and like all of a sudden nothing. And that's when Gabe and I were like so lost and like dude, what are like kind of like what are we without the church kind of thing, because we've
Yeah,
never really like as a couple never been outside the church. He personally had never been outside the church at all in his life because he grew up in the church. um I almost felt worse for him because I was like, you don't know what it's like to not be involved, so that's even more of a change for you.
yeah, 100%. I mean, and I mean, to some extent, like you guys, like your relationship
Relationship.
sort of
Mm-hmm.
bound up in your involvement in being a church, in
Mm-hmm.
being in church. I mean, does that affect you guys like the way? I mean, are you guys having to like face that after the fact too?
Um,
Or were you just in it together?
Honestly, I would say that this is gonna sound kind of cringy, but I feel like the most that I believe in God is because of the Gabe and I's relationship. Like the most that we've taken out of it is like you know how the church talks about the oneness and being of the same mind and all of that. And like although we're not in the church, Gabe and I have moved almost always the same. Like we're pretty much at the same mindset. I for some reason I don't know how, I don't know why. I can't really speak to it in a way, but it's not like one of us were trying to go into church and one of us wasn't. Like we never experienced that separate pool. Like, yeah.
No, I mean, I think that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I totally see that. And I mean, because you guys, when I remember you sharing your testimony at the young adult ministry when you did preach that night when we first
Mm-hmm.
talked about, like, it was so clear how much that love that you guys had for each other really reflected Jesus. Like, I think when
Mm-hmm.
people saw it, I remember crying at your wedding.
Did you really?
Yeah, 100%. Like, and it was when you walked out and I saw Gabe crying and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's amazing. Like, this is, at that point, I was like, this is the coolest wedding I've ever been to. Just because I knew, like, honestly, I'm thinking about it now, just getting chills because it was just so cool how much, like, I had known what you had gone through,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew how much Gabe cared for you. And no, it was like like that's why I
Oh
really,
gosh, I'm tearing up.
no, it was
That's so
amazing. Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, I like. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. Um, it's so funny because we experienced so much, or I felt like we experienced so much backlash when we first started dating. Because if I'm being honest, I think it was like maybe a month after I got engaged.
Oh, really?
I it was very soon after. Like I was like Gabe and I went on a date after, and I was telling myself I'm not dating anybody, but for some reason I was just like, okay, let's hang out. Um, but yeah, I literally cannot explain Gabe and I's relationship um, at all because it's like I don't know, just works. It's so funny because a lot of people are like, "How did you guys move through all these things and still?" I feel like if anybody else were to have gone through literally like all that we've gone through, like if they didn't move in the same mindset, like they would have gotten a divorce. And so, like, I have no explanation to it. We've never been to couple counseling, like nothing.
Yeah. I mean, that happens. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people, they're, I mean, and even when the stakes are much lower, like,
Mm-hmm.
you just, like, change jobs. Like, the second, like, that thing of identity changes, the
Mm-hmm.
relationships just get completely thrown out of whack. No, I mean, that's 100% what it is. Though, okay, so the interesting thing is, like, when I talk to you now,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we are back in our church coffee shop and we're just talking about faith. Like, I feel like you have a lot of the same, I mean, just the way you're talking now,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like you have a lot of the same beliefs and convictions and feelings.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, you're telling me that a lot has changed. And I mean, obviously you don't go to church like that,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot has changed in that sense, but it sounds like you're very much the same. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying you're this, like, you didn't change at all and you didn't grow,
Yeah.
whatever. It sounds like you're the same person in some sense, and I think for a lot of people that might be strange.
Yeah. I feel like we grew up in the church with some really good principles. Like I still, because I'm in leadership at my work now, and I still believe in servant leadership. Like all of those same principles are just, I think they taught really good things. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that a lot of it was wrong. I actually don't. I mean, I have obviously some bad memories from Hawaii, but like a lot of the core values, I guess, in a way, like I was just having this thought, and I was like, if Gabe and I have kids, I feel like I still want to raise them in the way that we are. Like, we may not be Christian or like talk about God, but I feel like a lot of what we have now is, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of it is like you're a good human with those kind of principles, and I feel like that will always be a part of me. Like, especially the amount of years that I've been there. Um, I still think that like having a oneness in your marriage is still like a really good concept. Like a lot of the church concepts in my eyes are like great. Like I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, I kind of see what you're saying. I mean, I mean, on the surface, yeah, there's like these sorts of moral lessons around how one should conduct themselves in the
Mm-hmm.
world, but also um, emulating Christian values in certain
Mm-hmm.
arenas of leadership and raising your kids, whatever, without necessarily explicitly connecting that to
Mm-hmm.
um, the person and work of Jesus Christ or God or the scriptures or
Yeah. Yeah, like I still think community is really great. I still think surrounding yourself with people is great. Like I a lot of the concepts of everything is still like I think that's I mean that's what originally attracted me to going to church was just the community base and like how everyone operated together. Um so I mean specifically in like the Hawaii church like that I don't know I felt like was really good. I'm not sure why it I don't know how to explain why it feels like I still believe, maybe. I don't know.
do you
Like,
not feel like you're a believer? Like, do you not believe?
I don't know what I believe at this point. Like, I believe that there's a God. Like, I don't not believe in a God. Um, like, I struggle in Bible college. I struggled with the Bible. I was like, okay, this is gonna be like crazy because everyone loves Paul. But I was like, dude, seems so rude. Like in my eyes, like seemed really harsh when I read the
Yeah.
Bible, and I was like, I don't. This is crazy that they rely on this guy so heavily. Like, there's like certain like narratives in there that I was like, I'm trying to take something out of this, but I'm like, this seems so intense and harsh compared to like what they're saying that God is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so like I already struggled with the Bible at times. So I really like I think I'm still trying to figure that out 5 years later post not going to church of my belief system. Um, but I think a lot of what it is my comfortability with myself. Like I think I didn't like myself a lot going to church. I felt like we reflected so much of like what can you change about yourself? Like, what do you need God to work on within you? Like, I feel like we didn't celebrate ourselves as much. Um, or at least I didn't feel like we did. Like, I felt like there was so much like reflection that I needed to do. And now I just feel like, oh, I'm like gonna celebrate me, and maybe that's what I'm emulating. Um,
What do you think we were celebrating back then?
the the church,
Yeah.
like just the I don't know. I the church as I don't know. I really don't know what we were. I don't know. It's very different from the satellite church. I still adore and love the pastor from the satellite church. Um, I have no, like, I think he's like the perfect reflection of, you know, like who I believed God is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he really showed so much love and grace. And so, like, in that, he celebrated, but growing up, I don't know. Like, in Bible college, I just felt like I didn't like myself. Um, and that I had to work on things. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost this. Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt the same way. It's like we're having like conferences and services just to sort of like celebrate this institution that we
Yeah.
all were sort of behind closed doors, kind of always pointing out things that were completely toxic and wrong. Um, but at the same time, we're having to sort of put forth this production to celebrate everything that's happening and everything that we're
Mm-hmm.
doing and make it to be something way more edifying and fulfilling than it actually was.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I don't know. There seems to be, and Shawnee and I kind of talked about this, that we never really understood what we were doing and who we were serving in ministry. Like we were
Yeah.
sort of serving, we were at the service of programs and
Mm-hmm.
not people or God, perhaps.
Yeah, because I feel like the amount that we were serving, it's like I don't think I actually attended a service like
I never did.
for myself, like ever. Um, like I think a lot of it was like serving, and not gleaning anything from the actual service, like that was happening. It was all work based. I felt like.
So, I mean, like, even now, I feel like you have this sort of, I don't know, and I don't know, maybe I'm misreading the situation completely, but like the way you talk about like church, you clearly are pointing to something that was wrong back then and that you know is
Mm-hmm.
wrong now, but you're it seems like even now you kind of are grounding that in some sort of like objective and transcendent truth. Would you, I mean, like call that God, or would you call, like, what do you call that sort of appeal that you have now, I guess?
Like to like my reflection back into when I was in church, or like now.
We like now, I guess.
Oh, I think part of me will always want to believe because of the fact of like, if I don't, I still don't know what's gonna happen to me after. Like I'm not in the ideal of when we grew up. Like I I would have to restate that I believe in Jesus Christ, or else I'm gonna go to hell. Like I think part of me. Sorry,
No, you're good.
can you? Is it catching it?
It did for like a split second.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I think a part of me wants to believe. I think part of me really enjoys the community that was there. And maybe I'm have faith in the community that was built more than and the connection and the relationships built than the religion, I guess. I don't know, I have like really fond memories of the community that was there. I find it hard to find something like that anywhere else.
I said the exact same thing to Malia. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I like, I've been, you know, in the mainland since 2019. I don't feel like I've made a single friend that I can like. Obviously, I have like some friends here, but like there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing like that group that we all had. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
still like I was just on the phone with like one of my best friends from that era yesterday for like an hour, and we're talking about like it's so hard for me to move on from that. I
Yeah,
don't.
I think I feel the same way. Like, we got visited by by a couple that was a part of the church and that we were very close with, um, back in May, maybe. But I don't know. I just was like, man, this connection, like, no matter the fact that I'm in church or not, is such a good connection. Like, and we got visited by another couple when we were in Texas, and I was like, man, like, I felt so at peace. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the connections and relationships is what, like, I see, like, the reflection of God in people. Maybe, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's 100% what it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, sorry, I've been so sick all week. Oh my god,
Even at the wedding, you were sick.
I caught it at the wedding.
Oh my
One of my
gosh.
sisters had it, and I started feeling the symptoms while we were out there, and I'm like, I don't know how I have allergies on a beach right now. It's so happening.
It's always the allergies.
It's always that thought of like an
Yeah.
allergy, like a dry cough, whatever. And then we drove home the next day, 10-hour drive, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh, you guys.
yeah, we always drive. So it's like North Florida to Virginia, and I got home. I was so nasty to Taya the whole ride back. I was just so mean, and my sisters are in the back seat. And I'm just like so mean about everything, like where we want to eat. I'm like, this place sucks, whatever. I'm just so nasty. And then I get home, and I'm like laying on our bed. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I like this is, and I was telling her, I'm like, I promise this was the hardest physical feat I've ever done in my life. Like driving this car for 10 hours while just dying. Like this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And my wife's like, or Taya, she's like, yeah, I bet you think that. I bet you want to do something. I'm like, all right, okay, all right.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's who I kept from that era, and she's still with me to this day,
Yeah.
which is great. No, yeah, but sorry, I sidetracked us with my cough.
Okay.
That's where that all started. Um, yeah, no. So I guess that's kind of where that. I mean, that's the whole thing with
Mhm.
this show. It's like, where are all these people? And it seems like there's something. Do you feel like you'll ever come back to it, or like do you what would it take for, it sounds like I'm like, I brought you here to
What would it take to come back to church?
we need you repeat after me real quick. um
Everyone, close your eyes and hands in front of you.
if this is you.
I'm gonna need you to come up to the stage. That was like the worst. I'm gonna need you to come up to the stage if this is you right now. I'm like, I don't want to get up and let everyone know what I'm going through. Like, I hate that.
I went to one where it was they had this guitarist who did like that kind of thing, and his whole thing was that he played guitar, and he would like preach while playing guitar,
Oh.
and they like paid him to come, and he was like, all right, I'm sensing someone in the crowd, and he starts like saying these crazy sins, and then people are having to like walk up and identify themselves with that. And like I think the last one was like, I there's someone out there who is just dealing with alcoholism so severe that it is like damaging his relationship with his, and the guy just starts like running up
It's like,
immediately.
it's me. I'm like, I hated that part because I was like, I don't know half of these people in here, and I don't feel like they need to know what's going on in my life. Like, that's crazy.
The other thing was like every kid was always raising their hand like every week, and
Hmm.
we'd be like, "Oh, we had like 200 salvations at camp this past weekend." And it's like, yeah, every kid raised their hand. Like, what are you supposed like? It's like if that's you, if you want to follow Jesus tonight, like, raise your hand.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of like because people are gonna look at you if you're not raising your hand. So it's like, I remember looking around.
Oh, I
So,
never did. I only did when I was like doing production or something, like
mm,
sound, because then I felt like, okay, I get to like peek behind the curtain a little bit. But when I was in the I was just like, no, I just gotta like honor that and pray for them. Like, it's not me. I don't think I ever did. I was like, oh no, no, no. I was always like, ugh. I'm like, I don't know.
it's the
But
perks of being a someone that sits in the back all the time. Like, you just like see everything. I like almost never sat in the front. The only time I did was when we were assistant pastors at the satellite church.
oh,
So it
really?
was kind of, yeah. I'm like, I hate sitting up here. It's
Check
so
out my smoking
imagey.
hot wife. She's in the front
Shawnee
row.
said that, and I thought about Gabe because I know his butt said that, and I was like, bro, he still says that to this day as a joke.
Smoking hot wife.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't.
It is like a universal thing. I mean, like someone called me about it, and they're like, "Did you really like talk about that when you went to seminary?" I was like, "Yes, we like had a class and we read a book, and one of the chapters in the book was the smoking hot wife and how the pastor's wife kind of became a thing."
A thing. Oh, that's like that. That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a universal thing, and I would tell people about it because they're all from like old school Methodist churches. They don't really get that, and I'm like, oh no, it's totally a
Yeah,
thing.
it's
It's
like a vocation at this point. Like
basically,
they're basically like almost all of them are basically pastors now, like in their own way.
yeah, it's kind of like being the president's wife in a way. And
Yeah.
actually, some churches they do call the pastor's wife the first lady. That was something that I discovered when I was a student intern pastor in grad
Mm.
school. That was a thing that some really involved spouses would do. They would like kind of call themselves the first lady. That kind of thing.
That's lovely.
Yeah, yeah. We're all just looking for a purpose. We're all just looking for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. Well, I think we got a pretty good grasp of where you've been and
Hmm.
where you're at. Is there anything you feel like you would want to? I think everyone wanted to hear from you. I think that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I think everyone, we all like. It's not like I'm super connected. Like I
Hmm.
live it the furthest away from everyone, basically. But I think everyone was really curious about and cared about a lot, like
Hmm.
where you guys were, and um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any thoughts or things you might want to say to those people? I guess.
Well, I've been home a couple of times, and every like chance, because the person that I see the most often, like, will always invite me over to like all the things, and she's obviously still like, knows everyone at home. So like every time I go over, everyone treats me the same, like
Hmm.
almost not like this. It's not awkward, I guess, but I feel like um, I'll always hold everyone in a very like special place in my heart. Shadi and I were actually roommates at one point. So like I don't know. I just love everyone, and like back to the question of what will it take me to get to church. I honestly have no idea, but I feel like a lot of people in Hawaii are, I don't know, the community sense is really good. So even if you're in church, I feel like that reflection of community was like the best. And like, as someone that's not in the church, I still hold that very highly, like as if people really cared, kind of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that'll always be like your experience of Christ will always be kind of bound up in those relationships. Seems
Yeah.
like
Yeah, because like going like the amount of stuff that we went through, well, that I went through, I was like, dang, I'm gonna be looked at so weird. I'm unengaged in a very public relationship, and I was like, dude, people are gonna be so weird towards me. And no one, I mean, no one did. People asked questions, and I was like, oh, I kind of love this open dialogue kind of thing. So yeah, if anybody's curious, they can DM me, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still like open to all those relationships regardless if I believe in the same things that everyone else believes.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I think a lot of people, I think we're going to find out that a lot of people are in that same position. I think the first person who said I should be talking to you guys is in that position, but actually I think everyone else who said to speak with you guys are people who left church completely, which is kind of interesting. And that's been a lot of the listeners who have reached out are people who said like they're just not involved anymore.
Yeah, that's. I can't even think of who. I don't know. Maybe I just like don't keep up well, but in my eyes, everyone is still in the church. I don't know. Cause that's what it
Yeah, and
seems like
maybe
it
they're
to
just like,
me.
oh, you should hear their story, or and maybe they know it or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
no. But I'm glad we did. I'm glad we got to sit down and
Yeah.
talk about and
The first crier, I feel like.
probably, but
I feel like if anybody remembers me, I did cry a lot though, so I'm unashamed about that.
no, that's awesome. I mean, it's great, and I thank you for sharing all those things that
Of
you
course.
like laying it all out there. I mean, it's been good.
Thanks for having me. I
Of course.
really appreciate it. It's been, I mean, I've been listening to the episodes just to kind of, at first when you like mentioned it, I was like, I'm going to say yes because I'm always open to a conversation. Um, but then I was like, oh, is everyone still in the church? And then I started listening, but I didn't feel like, judgment in a way. So I really appreciate it. Like, I
No, yeah.
felt like it's cool to still be seen even though I'm not in that same realm anymore.
Yeah, I think like we all will always have that thing that we all had together, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I see it in my relationship with Taya. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like we're always going to be those 16-year-old kids, but we're always like now we're those 29-year-old kids that stuck it out all these years later or
Yeah.
whatever. But like we always have that thing from
Mm-hmm.
that era. And
We sound like a, when people. I'm watching like this one show, and it's like looking back on a like an era and a love of your life, and I feel like at times it sounds like that. Like, oh, this will, when in The Office when Andy Dwyer's like, this is the good old times, and we'll,
yeah,
yeah. What does he say? But I don't know. That's how I feel exactly.
like
What does he
you don't
say?
know your. Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna look it up because it's such a
Yeah.
good show. I feel like we don't know.
This is like you don't know if you're in the good times until you've
I wish
already
there
left
was a
it.
way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Yeah, that's exactly like that's how I feel.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's always going to be that thing that those summer camps, those yeah, and we got so many years together. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just like these one-off type of deals. It was like
Yeah.
we got to all kind of grow up together for a little bit and for however long it was, and yeah, and I don't know, and maybe there's something in that, and I think you're kind of touching on that. That's maybe transcendent and goes on and gets to
Mm-hmm.
survive,
Yeah.
even this life and the next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's a good place to end it. I'm gonna
Perfect.
All right, later, everyone. And then